That makes sense to me. Supply, though, supply is an issue, right? In terms of the number of licenses, and that's why you restricted it to this number. If you can solve some of those supply issues even as early as this year, would more licenses become available before the end of 2019?
So supply is the issue. When we announced our plan this summer, we announced that we would have an open retail system, private retail system with no cap on the allocation of licenses. It was just going to be driven by market demand. But as we were watching the supply issues around the country, we realized that we couldn't do that. So we've announced this temporary system with 25 stores. So in terms of the next steps, it's up to the federal government, which is in charge of supply, to address these supply shortages that they're not just affecting us in Ontario, they're affecting provinces across the country. So once we see some kind of progress on that important point, then we'll be able to open up the market. Our goal is to get to an open allocation.
Open allocation. Are you up to?
Greetings, and greetings, everybody, and welcome to another terrific Tuesday on Here to Help You. I am Dave Rankin, or as my handle likes to say, IR Dave Rankin. I'm still not sure in regards to why someone doesn't like that my handle. I know it's improper grammar, but still, it's catchy. It works for me. Now, if you've seen at the beginning there, we are talking today regarding the recent findings of the Ontario Lottery with respect to the cannabis regulations. Now, for those of us who've been hiding under a rock and haven't heard anything about it for the last little while, as we now know, of course, it is now legal to go ahead and smoke weed in Canada. And now, as of a couple of days ago, 25 lucky participants can now go ahead and open up retail stores. Lucky for some eyes, bullshit for others. But let's get into some information today. So, according to the business section of the Financial Post a couple of days ago, here's what we have. So, Ontario has announced the results of its much-anticipated cannabis retail lottery, naming 25 companies that are now eligible to begin applying for a license to operate a brick-and-mortar pot shop in the province. Now, with respect to a brick-and-mortar, meaning an actual physical store, and actually, go ahead and licensing within retail stores as well. Now, among the companies which were randomly selected by the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario were the following: Pure Alpha Holdings, Tripsetter, CGS Foods Incorporated, which we'll elaborate on that in a moment, and as well as the Niagara Herbalist. What I found very surprising regarding the winners was that the majority of the 25 lottery winners appeared to be individuals as opposed to be corporations, meaning that they were sole proprietors. And in fact, they made up 64% of the overall applications submitted according to the AGCO, while only 33% were registered corporations. Those corporations, we went through the corporations a while ago, but the people, some of the lucky winners, person's names: Heather Conlon. I know I'm going to mess his name up, so I apologize ahead of time. Saya Darash, Saya Demary. I hope I said that right, but apologies if I messed it up. Colin Campbell, Dana, Michelle Kendo, and Honey Gowrie. Now, cannabis lawyer Trina Fraser believes that given the number of individuals on the lottery list that have not yet incorporated themselves, there might be only 4 to 5 stores to open by April 1st. Now, that's going to leave a lot of scrambling, considering that the government's went ahead and actually imposed a lot of hefty fines, a lot of rules and regulations regarding those who simply who've now been awarded a license and will not be ready to go ahead and actually operate at that point in time. So we'll get into that in a moment. Now, the article does continue to state here that lottery winners will now have until January the 18th to submit a retail operator license application with extensive detail on the timeline for getting a cannabis store up and running. They would then be subject to a background check, which will include scrutiny of tax records and financial statements. Now, for those of us who are pretty much familiar in regards to any type of financial statements, tax statements as well, normally they would look at about 3 years worth. I'm not sure regarding if they'll look at the last 5, considering that, of course, they are the government. They can go and pretty much make up the rules that they want. However, though, you know what? I'd like to find out, from those who have one, what type of tax records they would have submitted in that case. Now, additionally, the 25 winners would have to submit a $50,000 letter of credit and a non-refundable $6,000 fee payment to the AGCO. Talk about really, really hefty there, right? $6,000 for the actual fee payment, and as well as a $50,000 letter of credit. It's unbelievable. Definitely unbelievable. All right. Now, if the applicants do not pass the AGO background check after they apply for the retail operator license, the AGCO will turn to a wait list of applications. I tell you, as we continue to go on with this article here, we'll find in regards to the number of applicants. I mean, it's very astonishing in regards, of course, how easy it was to go and apply for it. But then again, the strenuous, for the lack of better terms, I mean, from speaking to a few people today, a lot of people were very upset regarding the selection process, and here's why. Now, in an attempt to ensure that those who obtain the retail licenses open their stores on time, the AGCO has said that it will levy a $25,000 fine on applicants who fail to get their stores up and running by the end of April. Now, the lottery received more than 17,000 applications, with the highest number of applications coming from Toronto regions and the GTA. 11 of the 25 licenses which were granted to those areas, with the remainder spread out across the eastern, western, and northern regions of the province. Can you go to picture number 3? I like this because you know what? I can relate to this brother, right? Clint Sukaran, right? He hails from here in Brampton, and in fact, he is originally from Trinidad. Now, Clint, who has no experience in the cannabis business, however, though, he's one of the lottery winners. And in fact, he's under, what's the name of the company, is CGS Foods Incorporated. So if you by means, get a chance, look him up. In fact, I believe CityTV had a wonderful interview with him the other day, and he shows his joyfulness regarding, of course, winning this. Now, it states here that Clint himself, he's been a long evangelist for health and artistic benefits of the newly legalized plant. Now, he has been a winner of the provincial lottery held last week, of course, to go ahead and open up the first group of licenses, right? And I'm quoting Clint directly when it says this. He thought it was junk mail regarding how he received the actual notice that he was a winner, right? I thought there was no way, the Mountain Man said, on being notified on his win Friday evening. He thought it was a joke. Of course, he goes on to say that he was elated and he was absolutely thrilled to become part of this movement. Right? Clint, who owns a coconut water bottling company under the name, as we mentioned before, CGS Foods Incorporated, says he's more interested in the health benefits and he'll help spread than, of course, the monetary rewards. Now, himself, who has been an aspiring doctor, right, he's been interested in the health effects of marijuana since he came to Canada back in 1996 when he came here to go ahead and study medicine. He quoted in an article in the Star stating that he didn't finish his degree in medicine. However, though, because he wanted to go ahead and do something rather than preventive and more of a solution in that sense. So he decided to get into the health food industry, which is a natural transition there. So health foods, healthy natural products, that's something he went ahead and, interested. And more importantly, the oil, the CBD, right, which is an active cannabis ingredient, which a lot of people are now have been using this more regularly for all types of ailments. You know, I'm sure we've seen a countless number of videos regarding, of course, those who have now, whether it's, name an ailment for me. I'm slip of a tongue right now. I know, right? I know. One that comes to mind is Parkinson's, right? I have seen where a gentleman, in fact, had Parkinson's disease, and in fact, took the CBD oil and was able to go ahead and actually function normally. So you can see the health benefits there, among other ones, right? There's another one, fibromyalgia. Thank you very much. Right. So while he's never sold medical marijuana, Sukaran did earn an MBA in the agricultural and food business from the University of Guelph. And with a second manufacturing business in his native Trinidad and Tobago, he says that he has the financial resources to open and operate his new endeavor. To that end, Sukaran has turned to the Cannabis Compliance Incorporated of Mississauga to help him navigate his entrance into the trade. Now, this is very interesting. Now, because, of course, there are a lot of arguments out there who simply by those who have experience within the industry, right? They're arguing for the fact that some of the winners have no experience whatsoever in the industry, and this can go ahead and actually cause a problem, both, of course, on the economic side of things and, of course, running an actual smooth an operation. I'm happy for this brother who's went ahead and actually won the lottery. He's now put himself in a very lucrative position to go ahead and not only just help himself, but help many others. In fact, you know what? We're going to our first break. We're going to continue on, of course, with our subject for the day, the cannabis lottery. I'm Dave Rankin. This is here to help you. See you after the break.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on MyTCNTV.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. We did it. You did it, and your party is coming up. Here's your receipt. The first legal receipt issued in Canada.
I feel great. The stigma ends tonight. Prohibition has ended right now. We just made history.
Marijuana, cannabis, 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 cannabis.
Now that weed is legal, I don't have to feel the
legalization.
I don't know the word, but it's not a negative thing anymore, which it shouldn't be.
Voilà, c'est ça.
My main goal was to be the first one buying recreational cannabis in Montreal.
And why?
It's a big moment for a stoner like me. Like it's like Christmas and New Year's and all in one day.
I don't believe Canada's ready to deal with this. I believe it's going to cost us taxpayers billions of dollars. I believe it is going to not help law enforcement. The laws in each province are not clear enough.
I just want to see what they have. I'm actually a medical user, so this will be a brand new experience for me. So I'm hoping to get maybe, 15 grams of some Snoop Dogg approved kush or something.
How did you choose your selection?
I went for one of everything.
Literally, I got one of everything, so I'm pretty excited about it.
I think it's like a big deal. It's like a historical moment, right? It's like a crack in like the puritanical ideals of like the past.
There's a certain aroma in the air I've been noticing more of. I myself am one of those people that also have a few concerns, but not too wholeheartedly, and I think everything.
Welcome back, family. This is Here to Help You. I am Dave Rankin, and today we're talking once again regarding the Ontario Cannabis Lottery, the winners, how it affects us, the selection process, and as you can see by the videos, a lot of happy people. You know, it strikes, you know, it's very striking in regards to now, of course, how jovial a lot of people have become since the legalization of cannabis, right? And now we're always wondering, you know, and of course, you know, like in the back of my mind, I'm always wondering, since now, of course, you know, the governments, they went in and opened up their pot store, you know, online, right? And now you have all these other stores. And I wonder if any of the purchases that can be, you know, written off for tax purposes. You know, it's just always a question for me, you know, especially, you know, like if you have an ailment, you know, could this consider it to be in medicine? I mean, if you're a recreational user, could you put this out? I don't know, some sort of like, who knows, man, you know, some sort of tax benefit in that regards. Who knows, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, on one side, I'm very happy that it is legal because now we can now see that people, you know, regular Joes, you know, regular people can now, you know, can actually walk down the street and burn a spliff and be okay with it. As opposed to, you know, back in the day, where simply you have to hide in a corner, Jim Screech, as we like to say, right? And another side, it's like what was not once become sacred has now become novelty. Right, and that's what I think a lot of people have now have the issue with. Some people, definitely within my circle, have an issue with the fact that it's now become a novelty item. I mean, we seen it in the video just a while ago where the man came up with like excess amount of crack house bags. You know, who knows how much weed he bought and how much paraphernalia he bought as well. But at the end of the day, you know what? Majority of Canadians voted for this. This is what we have now, and you know, this is what we got to work with. So let's get back to the lottery. This stat, which I'm going to go ahead and read out here, which is very interesting. So now, did we know that you had a better chance winning the 649 as opposed to winning the actual cannabis lottery? And here's how. Government said that there is a 1 in 676.2% chance of winning the Ontario Cannabis Lottery, as opposed to actually winning some sort of prize with the 649. In fact, there's a 1 in 6.6 chance of winning the lottery, which is interesting, considering the fact that 17,000 people applied, right, and only 25 people won, right? It's crazy. I don't know, man. I mean, once again, you know, at the end of the day, this is what we voted for. This is exactly what we have to work with. Hopefully it works out in regards to now, of course, being a lot more of a lucrative position for people now who went ahead and invested their time and invested their money, as opposed to now, you know what, like really is the government setting us up for some sort of failure, right? Industry experts such as Lifting Company, the head office operator there, Matea Olaru, says that the store licenses, which the lottery gave winners a chance to apply for, could be worth millions of dollars to initial shop owners. Here's how. Since there's only 25 winners, right, and some of them simply have no experience, we're going to find a lot of people who may want to go ahead and partner up with the winners. You know, and who knows, maybe they're going and license their, you know, sub-license or sublet, how to we got into legal, you know, terms for it, but you're gonna have a lot of people, you know, making some really, really big offers for the licenses, right? Olaru, whose Toronto company acts as an industry resource and information provider, told the Toronto Star that these first entrants into the brick and mortar pot sector will almost certainly prosper from being the earliest recreational merchants in Canada's most populous province. And wow, amazing. You know, like, I've heard that one of the licensees actually received an offer for up to about $5 million, right? So, I mean, I don't know, you know, how true that is, but we're going to look at a lot of very, very rich people, right? And we're also going to look at some who simply, you know what, who may go ahead and actually lose their shirt, right? So let's give you a little bit of background regarding, of course, what is taking place. Now, regarding the retail licenses and regulations, on December 13th of 2018, the government of Ontario announced that a temporary cap of 25 retail stores authorizations will be imposed while cannabis supply stabilizes. The Attorney General, Ms. Caroline Mulroney, sorry, I'm trying to remember her last name. Now, she stated that there's been a shortage of supply, due to, of course, the government handing out license. However, though, I was wondering, who are they actually reaching out to regarding the supply? I'm sure, one or two of us can go ahead and find a couple people that can go ahead and help out the Ontario government in that respect, right? I do little branding, get your proper education, you know what I'm saying? As set out in the Ontario Regulation 468/18, the Government of Ontario gave the AGCO the mandate to hold a lottery to determine who may apply for retail operating licenses. An expression, in fact, they, on their website, it stated, the date in regard to when they went ahead and actually received applicants, right? 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, January 7th, straight into 12 p.m. noon, January 9th of 2019. These, in fact, the time frames where they were going to allow, and in fact, when they went ahead and received the applications. Once again, approximately 17,000 applications they received. It's amazing with respect to that, in regards to how many applicants they received. There was an application fee of $75 to get in. So anybody could have applied. Anybody definitely could went and applied at that point in time, So it's up in the air once again, regarding, everybody's thoughts. My personally, if I'm going to be, candid regarding this, I don't know how fair, of course, the process could have been, especially only having 25 stores. We'll break it down, of course, regarding, how many stores, how many people, how many regions, how many people per region in a few moments. But I'm on the fence, to be honest with you. Once again, of course, as stated before regarding the novelty issues, but also with respect to now, if we've seen it in all the videos, there's only one of us who actually looks like us. One person who actually we can go and relate to in that respect, right? So it comes down to, add a question, where's the due diligence in having something, of course, right across the board, right? Of course, when people are applying for a job, they have that, of course, that questionnaire at the end where you have to go ahead and state your ethnic background, right? So I wonder, within that, of course, the application process, did you have to go ahead and state your ethnic background as well, right? So that's something to go ahead and ponder on. We're going to take another break here, and here to help you, I'm Dave Rankin. We'll see you after the break.
Welcome to Shadow Auto.
People who were hoping for a free-for-all and one-love openness, it's a disappointment.
Cannabis is going to be legalized in certain contexts, but it's also going to be very heavily regulated. And my concern is that people don't recognize the extent to which it will still, in certain contexts, be illegal, and that might bring them in conflict with the law.
African Canadian people. Our community is very afraid to now come out and actually be a part of this market because we've been criminalized for so long.
Noni Haynes is part of a group leading a discussion on new cannabis laws at a local community center.
And who's making money from the weed? Not the average person.
I don't know if you don't know, we live in a capitalist society. And you know, within capitalism, anything goes.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, now is the opportunity. If you capitalize on that, you have your business, or you grow your business, you expand your clientele, and you treat it like an actual corporation.
Welcome back to Here to Help You. I am Dave Rankin. Today we're talking once again regarding the Ontario Cannabis Lottery. Its findings, some of the winners, the process. By means, or even you get a chance to throw this out there. Please leave us your thoughts. We'd love to go to hear your thoughts. Whether it's on the YouTube page, whether it's of course on the Facebook page, whether it's simply through our website, or simply email me. Dave@Carib101.com. Let me know your thoughts. I said before, some people who have spoken to, they don't like the process. They definitely didn't like the selection process. They felt, that something as sacred as marijuana has been, of course, to a lot of people. Simply, they've went in and pretty much turned it loose, right? So it's kind of like lost its, sacredness, at this point. But nonetheless, as mentioned before, there's a lot of us who voted for the current Prime Minister, Mr. Trudeau, and one of his promises was to go ahead and legalize marijuana. And simply, this is what we got on our hands at this far. So we can only work with what we got. So regarding the lottery rules, now the mega corporation KPMG, they monitored the lottery process to assess whether it was conducted fairly. I don't know how they would have done that, to be honest with you. However, though, we all know what the findings have been. Now, the AGCO also submitted its lottery software program for independent testing and certification from the Gaming Laboratories International, an independent testing laboratory which holds international accreditations for compliance with ISO/IEC 17025, 17020, and 17065. These pretty much are standards for technical competence in gaming, wagering, and lottery industries, right? So that's what they've done. Now, how they pretty much randomly selected, of course, it's winners. I don't know. However, though, they're saying that there was simply no advantage or disadvantage to when an applicant submits an application during this time frame. And since that the majority of the winners have been sole proprietors, right? Or are sole proprietors and simply have no industry experience, well, we can see what's happening now, right? Now, to participate in the lottery, potential applicants were required to pay a non-refundable expression of interest fee of $75 when submitting their expression of interest application. Now, all this information I'm reading right now can be found on the Alcohol and Gaming Commission on their website. So by means, it's nothing new. As, of course, a government body, they have to go ahead and present this information and allow it to be public. We're just merely making sure, of course, our viewers are aware of this as well. Additionally, potential applicants for the lottery were expected to carefully review all the rules to ensure that they were fully aware of and ready to meet the requirements before submitting their expression of interest application. Can we go to the picture number 4, please? Perfect. Excellent. Now, in particular, unless otherwise agreed by the register in writing, within 5 business days of the AGCO publishing the lottery results on the AGCO website, the 25 selected expression of interest applicants would need to, number 1, submit a retail operator license application, including a non-refundable $6,000 fee payment. Also provide a $50,000 letter of credit in the form provided. Now, as we mentioned before, they're really trying to make people go through really stringent lengths to make sure, of course, they comply, right? That's something, of course, we can't really take short notice on that. However, though, once again, on the flip side of things now, considering that it is now legal and we have these major corporations now simply who are going to go ahead and benefit from this, what about the man in the corner who simply, got busted under the small charges, right? We want to see some people advocating for that. Why don't we have the government come on and say that, we can get their fines or simply, their jail time reduced, since a lot of this has now been open, it's of course to the public. There needs to be more dialogue with respect to this because there are a lot of families who have suffered, with respect to having their loved ones now in jail for something that was once not legal, now legal, right? And we can't turn a blind eye towards something like that. Now, continuing on regarding their expression on the lottery rules, rule number 6. Now, subject to the restrictions set out in rule number 9. An applicant may submit an expression of interest application and identify up to 5 regions for a total of 5 separate expressions of interest entries into the lottery. Example, 1 per region, right? So, I guess, the more tickets you buy, the more chances you got to win, right? So in this case here, if you had enough change to go ahead and buy more than one, entrance fee, by means, you've pretty much setting yourself for a lot more success, right? Rule number 7 here, the maximum of 25 retail store authorizations will be allocated in accordance with the Ontario regulation 468/18, which provides for the maximum number of stores in the following regions. And I found this very interesting here, so please pay attention here. Each region, simply we're looking at some cities such as Muskoka, Haliburton, Ottawa's here in this as well. They're only allotted up to 5 stores. The GTA region simply was Durham, York, Peel, and as well as Halton, 6 stores. North region, we're looking at Nipissing, Parry Sound, Sudbury, and as well as Thunder Bay. They only get 2 stores, right? In the Toronto region, as I mentioned before, 5 stores, right? And as well as the West region, we're looking at Dufferin, Wellington, Hamilton, Niagara, Middlesex, Lambton. They get 7. So by means, wow. How they came up, of course, with something like this, especially in the North region where you have a population of people who need to be supplied. They only get 2 stores. What happens now, of course, they live like an hour out or an hour and a half out. What are you going to do? The crackdown, of course, on quote unquote illegal, dispensaries. How's that going to go ahead and fit into play? Does it now open up the market for them now to go ahead and actually stay in business just a little bit longer? We got a lot of questions to go ahead and ask with respect to that. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting in regards to how everything is going to go ahead and unfold from here on in, from now, right up until April 1st when those stores are supposed to go ahead and, and open up. However, though, I just hope that a lot of our people are gathering their ducks in a row. Whether you've already applied or simply, waiting to go ahead and partner with another organization or simply a sole proprietor to get in on this, get organized. Because the only way we can go ahead and control the narrative, of course, is to pretty much be out in the front. As Dr. Vibe once said, if we're either on the menu or at the table. So by means, it's something that we definitely need to go ahead and do. Let's go ahead and actually take a break right here. By means, this is here to help you. I'm Dave Rankin. We'll see you right after the break.
We're sitting in a location that we've leased in order to build a retail cannabis business. We are applying for one of the 25 licenses, and hopefully we win one of those. If we don't win the lottery, we plan to make our locations and the expertise and resources, including the brand weed, OUID, available to a winner. The winners have 5 business days in order to put together a plan, including security plan, a location, in order to meet the requirements that in order to actually realize the lottery and be able to open a location. So we think we've got all the resources that if a winner wins but doesn't have all those pieces, we can offer them those pieces and they can work with us to build a successful business.
Welcome back to Here to Help You. I am Dave Rankin. If you missed any other previous segments, by me today, we are talking about the Ontario Cannabis Lottery. Who were some of the winners? How does it affect, of course, the rest of us here? And by means, you know what? I got a lot of questions. Anisha got a lot of questions. I'm sure you got some too. We'd love to hear, of course, your comments. You know where to find us: YouTube, Facebook. Comment on, of course, on the MyTCN website, or simply, you know what? Send me something. Dave at Carib101. By means. Let's get back into, of course, today's topic. Now, I'm looking at an article here from CBC. Now, I mentioned earlier in our segment here that there could be a lot of people who would want to go ahead now and partner up with the winners, right? And their article states here that business and investors are rushing to partner up with the 25 winners of the Ontario Cannabis Retail License Lottery, which offers apparently worth millions of dollars to be involved in the province's first recreational weed stores set to open up this spring. Olivia Brown, the founder of Hamilton, Ontario-based professional cannabis consultant, says that one of her clients was among the 25 entities selected by the province via lottery and has fielded 3 big offers just on this past Monday alone. That's amazing with respect to regards to how lucrative, and how quickly, of course, a lot of these people are wanting to go ahead and partner up. You can just imagine this, just like last year, some point in time, with respect to, of course, on the verge of now the legalization of marijuana and the pointing now of, the two former chief of police staff, Fantino as well as Bill Blair, and now their role within the marijuana industry. And how at one point in time they were locking up excessive amount of brothers and sisters on the roadside for selling weed so they can go and feed their families. This is where we're at now, family. And as you said before, we really need to go ahead and organize ourselves so that we can now be out front of this and have the correct dialogue so that we can get some of our family members out, definitely out. You know what I'm saying? So, by means, time is now. As the article continues, states here now, there are a couple of large investors, one from the United States, one of them from Amsterdam, and a very established Hamilton family looking to invest, said Brown, who said her client did not want to be named. I can understand that too. Considering that, it's like winning the lottery, basically, right? How many people really, really want to be named? You can consider, of course, the amount of, supposed family members who want to go ahead and, receive a handout. But in this case now, of course, a family member simply has won the cannabis lottery. I know you can imagine in regards to like the bunch of strangers, who want to go ahead now and say, hey, listen, let's partner up. We can do this, So continuing on here, it states here, however, these retail operator licenses are not transferable under provincial regulations, which has companies and investors scrambling to find ways to partner with the lottery winners as allowed under the rules and cash in on their first mover advantage. Everybody is trying to find one of the winners and trying to cut some sort of deal with them, said Mark Goliger, Chief Executive Officer of National Access Cannabis Corporation. The NAC, which has signed an agreement with coffee chain Second Cup to convert some of its coffee shops into weed dispensaries, has been in touch with a handful of lottery winners and is seeking partnership, such as services agreement or revenue sharing agreements. Second Cup. I think Coca-Cola's in on it too. I think they got now in a weed-infused caffeine drink. I don't know how that's supposed to taste. There's part of it doesn't work. Wow. Once again, give us your thoughts. I mean, what was once sacred is now a novelty, family. I mean, everybody's cashing in. And also the, former 2 police chiefs. Abdi Roach, the owner of Toronto-based Hot Box Cafe, says her lottery entry did not win, but she has been in touch with winners on potential partnerships and has been told that offers are north of $5 million. It's a big risk, she says, I'm not willing to take. And given that most of the winners are sole proprietors and there are restrictions of changing the structure of the company after entering the lottery. The risk of putting in a large sum of money into a sole proprietorship without ownership is crazy. And that is true. Anybody who doesn't even investing, by means, if you put any type of money into an actual sole proprietorship, without some sort of course, agreements, in place, making sure, of course, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And more importantly, you get that return on investment, could be a bad look. Right. So by means, for those of us out there who are looking to go ahead and invest, who do know of some of the partners, by means, do your due diligence before doing so. We do have, corporations or companies here within the city. Organja is one of them. Reach out to them, find out what their involvement in the process is. Maybe they are looking for investors. Maybe they are looking for, for silent partners, of course, to grow the movement. But more importantly, have that real dignified, movement. Especially since, like at this point in time, there aren't a lot of us really in the movement at this point in time, or at least on the public forefront. Who knows regarding the back end of things. And the last piece here, the article does state here the following. Although the types of deals that can be made are limited, there was a flurry of negotiations over the weekend, said Ottawa-based lawyer Trina Fraser, who is representing clients looking to enter partnerships. The deals that Fraser clients are seeking include licensing or services agreements, which allow the license holder to retain sufficient control as required under provincial regulations. I guess that would mean, we're an actual corporation or we can call it a corporation now. We'll go ahead and seek the licenses and actually open up under, of course, as a sole proprietor, or simply, open up under the actual, the business name, right? But still, the person who actually won the lottery would actually still receive those rights, still receive, of course, cash in the back end from the profits and so on and so forth. So by means, as I said before, congratulations, of course, to the winners. By means, to a lot of us who applied and did not win, it's not your fault that you have won. Be wise, of course, in your decisions. For those of us who are looking, of course, to get in the industry, do your due diligence. Seek out those who are already in the industry. Find out ways you can go, look at the back channel negotiations. Who knows? Maybe there are people out there who are simply looking for group investors out there as well. With that being said, this is the end of our show today, family. Once again, our topic today was about the Ontario lottery and, of course, within the cannabis industry. April 1st is the due date for, of course, that first store opening, of course, its doors, and we're going to see what's going to happen from here on in. My name is Dave Rankin. Let's go ahead and actually close out with that video. Peace and love, family. See y'all next week.
Scrambling to figure out next steps. They beat out thousands of applicants, winning the chance to open one of Ontario's very first retail cannabis stores, but not before submitting a $50,000 letter of credit, a $6,000 non-refundable fee, and a full business plan. All of this due by Friday. We caught up with one of the winners earlier today.
She attached the attached letter, and I said, come on.
The odds were well against him. 17,000 applicants, 60,000 entries, and only 25 would win. So when the news first arrived in an email to his inbox, Clint Sukarin didn't believe it.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was some spam that was being sent out. But after I discovered it was actually real, I was just elated. I was so happy. I felt so lucky to be one of the chosen ones to participate in this new movement.
He now has the chance to open one of the very first cannabis retail stores in Ontario after his name was randomly drawn in a provincial lottery. Far different from his current coconut water company, CGS Foods Inc. Even he admits his knowledge of the product is limited. How much do you know about cannabis?
Not that much at all.
So why did you decide to apply in the first place?
Well, I currently run a business as a way to, again, complete my mission in bringing healthy foods, healthy products to the population.
Some have criticized the province for allowing anyone with just $75 to apply after capping the number of licenses to just 25. Voicing the concerns that none of the well-established, experienced cannabis companies in Ontario even made the list. But Sukaran says inexperience is actually working to his advantage in this case.
I feel blessed that I have no knowledge of it before, because now I'm very open to being assisted from the experts who do have that experience and who do have that qualification to guide me. So I would submit that to them. So that in that way, I think I'm armed to really succeed.
He's hired cannabis consultancy firms to help him with the process, and he's still deciding where he'll set up shop. While he's from Brampton, that city hasn't decided whether or not it's opting in to retail cannabis stores. In public meetings, residents have been divided on the topic. The deadline to decide is January 22nd. In the meantime, Sukaran is getting his paperwork ready and trying to enjoy the moment while it lasts. Did you ever expect to win?
I didn't expect to, but I definitely hope to.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but it's an experience I don't think you can really explain, or you draw an analogy to, because it's so fantastic.
Sukaran is one of the 6 winners in the GTA region. So if Brampton does opt out, what are his options? Well, a lot of municipalities have already opted out, including Mississauga, Markham, and Richmond Hill. But there are still a lot who are undecided. Barrie, Hamilton, Milton, Newmarket, Oakville, Pickering, and of course Brampton. Those are just to name a few. So there are still a lot of options on the table. And again, that deadline is January 22nd.